for AI and automation in hiring. Hi, I'm Kara from the Hiring Circus, and today we're going to take a look. Every time I post about this topic on LinkedIn, I inevitably get responses from recruiters saying that there's no automation. We are reviewing every single resume. Here in this video, we're going to take a look at evidence to the contrary. To start this research, we looked at some of the top ATS by market share according to this chart in 2022. We're going to start with Taleo, the one with the biggest market share, go to some other ones, and then we'll come back to Greenhouse, and I'll tell you why. Taleo is part of Oracle and is now being phased out in favor of Oracle Recruiting. That's why you don't see Taleo on this screenshot. But you can see they work to optimize your hiring process by doing candidate recommendations as well as automation and skill recommendations for your requisitions. This is just a small snippet of how automation is used in hiring. I'd be thinking skill-based hiring, that's good, right? Well, it can be overly simplistic and miss the mark. If you look at an interview with one of the authors of the 2021 Harvard Accenture study called Hidden Workers, Untapped Talent, he cites a couple of examples of where this has gone wrong. In one example, a hospital required candidates to have computer programming experience when all they needed was data entry. In another example, a company would reject applicants for the retail clerk position if they didn't have floor buffing as one of the skills on their resume, even if they matched every other criteria. Moving on to some of the smaller competitors in this space, JobVite. Pretty clear from the headline, right? AI positively impacts talent acquisition. No ambiguity here. Moving on to SuccessFactors. Streamline and optimize the hiring experience. Those are other ways of saying that there's some automation involved. Some of the more concerning aspects are auto progression of candidates, probably some rule-based automation that goes into which candidates are moved forward and which candidates are deprioritized. Moving on to Lever, which states it much more explicitly than SuccessFactors. It says, this rule-based workflow ensures only applicants who meet a predefined list of criteria make it in front of recruiters for review. They have auto-screening rules along with fast resume review functionality that help people go through the hundreds or thousands of applications that they get in each requisition. Job seekers understand that if you have 40 requisitions and there's 1,000 or even the average 250 applications per, totally understandable that there's some automation involved. The question comes from, again, is this screening criteria overly simplistic? Are you overlooking people because they worded their skills differently? Or maybe their skills are evident in the accomplishments that they've done, but that's not something that the automation would pick up. For example, if you led a company-wide transformation of a particular process, there's some communication skill involved. But maybe if you don't say you have strong communication skills, would that get overlooked? We don't have clarity into the process, but those are the questions that we're asking. This is one that is not on that pie chart that I showed earlier. It's Harvard. I'm not sure they call themselves an ATS. It's really more hiring solutions for high volume hiring. A nice visual example of how this automation can occur in hiring, to go directly from application to assessment to a role that auto selects you for interviews based on how you performed into the assessment and then hires you. Now, I promised that we would come back to Greenhouse, which is one of the largest players in this space. And the reason why is that a lot of recruiters will say, there might be these auto selection functionalities. They might auto rank applicants based on some kind of scoring mechanism, but I turn it off. I don't look at it. I read through every resume, right? I'm certainly not going to discount recruiters that say that. I applaud you. Keep doing what you're doing. I think the reason that recruiters say that this functionality is not available in their ATS is because of integrations. So say Greenhouse, they may integrate with a software that does candidate background checks, right? So that just makes their solution even better to end user and say, I don't have to go out to a whole separate application to do my candidate background check. I can do it all within this ATS. This is a screenshot of some of the AI tools that you can integrate within Greenhouse. And then one of their customer preferred vendors, which is Eightfold AI, which does the automation of sourcing, screening, and ranking candidates. So if somebody uses Greenhouse, has never seen Eightfold AI, it's not an integration that the company decided to put into their ATS. They're not being untruthful. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It doesn't mean that other companies aren't using it. To sum it up, AI and automation does exist in hiring. What we need to do is acknowledge that, as well as understand the impact that it has. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more on this topic, let me know in the comments, as well as subscribe to the Hiring Circus for more videos on why hiring is so strange these days.